Welcome to Face the Quiz, the ultimate general knowledge challenge. You have 101 rapid-fire questions to test your brain power. Keep track of your score and see how many you can get right. Let's begin. Q1. How many white keys are on a standard piano? 52. Keep your score ready. Q2. Which tree produces acorns? The oak tree. Let's continue. Q3. Which country is famous for tulips and windmills? The Netherlands. Next question coming up. Q4. What is the term for animals moving seasonally to a new place? Migration. Keep going strong. Q5. How many total dots are on a pair of dice? 42. Let's see if you get the next one. Q6. Which mountain range separates Europe from Asia? The Ural Mountains. Moving on. Q7. What is the square root of 625? 25. Stay sharp. Q8. Which part of your body has no pain receptors? Brain. Next question. Q9. What wizarding sport is played on broomsticks? Quidditch. Keep track of your score. Q10. Which fruit is a cross between a pomelo and an orange? Grapefruit. Here comes the next. Q11. What do you call the layer of gases surrounding Earth? The atmosphere. Let's continue. Q12. Which is the largest bone in the human body? The femur. Stay with me. Q13. Which concept in physics describes energy in motion? Kinetic energy. On to the next. Q14. Name one of the only two mammals that lay eggs. Platypus or echidna. Keep going. Q15. Which term describes the amount of matter in an object? Massachusetts. Next question. Q16. Who was the first African-American president of the United States? Barack Obama. Keep playing. Q17. Which 90s show featured Blossom, Joey, and Six? Blossom. Let's move on. Q18. Which month is named after the Roman god of war? March. Next one. Q19. Which African country is named after a major river and has Abuja as its capital? Nigeria. Keep going. Q20. Which classical composer wrote the Fifth Symphony? Beethoven. Moving on. 21. Which historical figure was known as the Maid of Orleans? Joan of Arc. Comment your score so far. 22. Which large flightless bird is native to Africa? Ostrich. Comment your score so far. 23. What bird is known for mimicking sounds like chainsaws? Superb lyrebird. Comment your score so far. 24. Which branch of mathematics studies patterns of change? Calculus. Comment your score so far. 25. What show features the upside down? Stranger Things. Comment your score so far. 26. Which measurement in music indicates speed of a piece? Tempo. Comment your score so far. 27. What does the prefix tri mean? Three. Comment your score so far. 28. Which is the only continent with land in all four hemispheres? Africa. Comment your score so far. 29. Which philosopher taught Alexander the Great? Aristotle. Comment your score so far. 30. What is the name of Batman's butler? Alfred, comment your score so far. 31. Which ancient Roman city was buried by a volcanic eruption in 79 AD? Pompeii, comment your score so far. 32. Which unit of digital information is made up of 8 bits? Byte, comment your score so far. 33. What part of the brain controls voluntary movement? Motor cortex, comment your score so far. 34. Which chess piece moves in straight lines? Rook, comment your score so far. 35. Which Middle Eastern country is a top exporter of natural gas? Qatar, comment your score so far. 36. Which Ivy League school is based in New York City? Columbia University, comment your score so far. 37. Which African country has more pyramids than Egypt? Sudan, comment your score so far. 38. Which Greek god ruled the sky and wielded thunderbolts? Zeus, comment your score so far. 39. Which metallic element is used to galvanize steel? Zinc, comment your score so far. 40. What is the only country that starts with Y? Yemen, comment your score so far. 41. Which ancient city was destroyed by a wooden horse trick? Troy, comment your score so far. 42. What is the world's fastest bird? Peregrine falcon, comment your score so far. 43. What is the only national flag that isn't four-sided? Nepal, comment your score so far. 44. What is a group of pandas called? Embarrassment, comment your score so far. 45. If one cat has 9 lives, how many do 99 cats have? 891. Comment your score so far. 46. Which Mongol ruler conquered a vast empire? Genghis Khan, comment your score so far. 47. Which South American country has Buenos Aires as its capital? Argentina, comment your score so far. 48. What is the process of adding yeast to dough? Fermentation, comment your score so far. 49. How many elements are in the periodic table? 118. Comment your score so far. 50. What seasonal McDonald's item is green? Shamrock Shake, comment your score so far. 51. Which sea separates Europe and Africa? Mediterranean Sea, comment your score so far. 52. What is the chemical formula for water? H2O, comment your score so far. 53. Which country has the largest population? China, comment your score so far. 54. Which blood type is known as the universal donor? O negative, comment your score so far. 55. What is the largest mammal on Earth? Blue whale, comment your score so far. 56. Which continent is known as the land down under? Australia, comment your score so far. 57. Who painted the Mona Lisa? Leonardo da Vinci, comment your score so far. 58. What gas do plants absorb during photosynthesis? Carbon dioxide, comment your score so far. 59. Which planet is known as the red planet? Mars, comment your score so far. 60. What is the hardest natural substance on Earth? Diamond, comment your score so far. 61. Which organ pumps blood through the body? Heart. Comment your score so far. 62. Which U.S. state is famous for Hollywood? California. Comment your score so far. 63. Who is known as the father of computers? Charles Babbage. Comment your score so far. 64. Which ocean is the largest? Pacific Ocean. Comment your score so far. 65. What is the currency of Japan? Yen. Comment your score so far. 66. What is the freezing point of water in Celsius? 0 degrees Celsius. Comment your score so far. 67. Who discovered gravity when he saw an apple fall? Isaac Newton. Comment your score so far. 68. What is the largest planet in our solar system? Jupiter. Comment your score so far. 69. Which element has the chemical symbol O? Oxygen. Comment your score so far. 70. Which city is known as the City of Love? Paris. Comment your score so far. 71. What is the tallest mountain in the world? Mount Everest. Comment your score so far. 72. Which bird is a symbol of peace? Dove. Comment your score so far. 73. What is the capital of India? New Delhi. Comment your score so far. 74. What is the smallest prime number? 2. Comment your score so far. 75. Who wrote the play Romeo and Juliet? William Shakespeare. Comment your score so far. 76. What is the process by which plants make food? Photosynthesis. Comment your score so far. 77. Which sport is known as the king of sports? Soccer, football. Comment your score so far. 78. What is the main ingredient in guacamole? Avocado. Comment your score so far. 79. Who was the first man to walk on the moon? Neil Armstrong. Comment your score so far. 80. Which planet has the most moons? Saturn. Comment your score so far. 81. Which language has the most native speakers? Mandarin Chinese. Comment your score so far. 82. What is the chemical symbol for gold? O. Comment your score so far. 83. What is the national flower of Japan? Cherry blossom. Comment your score so far. 84. Which ocean is on the east coast of the United States? Atlantic Ocean. Comment your score so far. 85. How many continents are there? 7. Comment your score so far. 86. What is the capital of Italy? Rome. Comment your score so far. 87. Which animal is known as the ship of the desert? Camel. Comment your score so far. 88. What is the main gas found in the air we breathe? Nitrogen. Comment your score so far. 89. What is the capital of Egypt? Cairo. Comment your score so far. 90. Which instrument has black and white keys? Piano. Comment your score so far. 91. What is the square root of 81? 9. Comment your score so far. 92. Which holiday is celebrated on December 25th? Christmas. Comment your score so far. 93. Which insect makes honey? Bee. Comment your score so far. 94. What is the fastest land animal? Cheetah. Comment your score so far. 95. Which color do you get by mixing red and white? Pink. Comment your score so far. 96. Which fruit keeps the doctor away if eaten daily, according to a saying? Apple. Comment your score so far. 97. What is the capital of the United Kingdom? London. Comment your score so far. 98. How many hours are there in a day? 24. Comment your score so far. 99. Which animal is the largest living reptile? Saltwater crocodile. Comment your score so far. 100. Which body part helps you smell? Nose. Comment your score so far. 101. Which famous scientist developed the theory of relativity? Albert Einstein. Comment your score so far. That's all 101 questions. How many did you get right? Share your score in the comments. If you enjoyed this challenge, subscribe for more quizzes and test your skills every week. See you in the next quiz.